If you were to assemble a list, a hierarchy of concerns, of problems this country faces, where would white supremacy be on the list? Right up there with Russia, probably. It's actually not a real problem in America. White supremacy, that's the problem. This is a hoax.
The 8 p.m. host on Trump TV is Tucker Carlson, and he wants you to believe the concern about white supremacy in America is a hoax, which is very convenient for a guy whose show has been dabbling in it for years. The truth, of course, is that white supremacy is alive and well in this country, on TV, and in certain corners of the internet where racists get together and post racist stuff, like this observation during quarantine, quote, "Black dudes staying inside playing Call of Duty is probably one of the biggest factors keeping crime down." Now, the author of that was not just some random racist. As CNN's Oliver Darcy revealed, that post was written under a pseudonym by this guy, Blake Neff, seen here in a Washington Post dating column in which he was identified as a proud Trump supporter. Blake Neff was also, until last week, the top writer on the Tucker Carlson television show on the Fox News channel. And what Darcy exposed is that Neff has been a racist and sexist online presence for years, hanging around in shady online forums, taking part in disgusting and offensive discussion topics. Just last week, here's an example. He responded to a thread in which someone asked, quote, and this is really offensive, so just prepare yourself, "Would you let a jet black Congo N-word do LASIK eye surgery on you for 50% off? To which Tucker Carlson's top writer responded, "I would not get LASIK from an Asian for free, so no." That kind of exchange is the whole point of forums like that. It's where horrible racists get together to be horrible racists, and they are the people who Tucker Carlson says you should not worry about, because white supremacy is not a real concern. But Blake Neff is not just some random loser who posts on racist message boards with his racist friends. He was Tucker's top take writer until last week. In fact, listen to this. Neff once boasted to the Dartmouth Alumni magazine, "Anything Tucker Carlson is reading off the teleprompter, the first draft was written by me. Anything Tucker Carlson is reading off the teleprompter was first written by a guy who we now know has been posting bigoted remarks for years."
I'm interested in the fact that how you feel about writing now that you're on TV. Has it changed you? Do you?
Well, I mean, I write, every night. I work on the scripts. We have a wonderful writer, Blake Neff, on the show.
A wonderful writer, the guy who says, "I wouldn't get LASIK from Asians for free." After his racist posts were exposed, Blake Neff resigned, and Fox News leadership condemned his bigotry. The online bigotry, not the Tucker scripts. Fox said they had no idea what Neff was doing. But really, come on. This is the least surprising news in the world. This guy worked for Tucker Carlson, the co-founder of a website called The Daily Caller, which has published work from at least 10 people with ties to white nationalists. It can literally be hard to keep track of all of them because the dark corners of the white supremacist internet are where many future Daily Caller writers first hone their craft. One of them, just for instance, was the organizer of that Charlottesville rally where white nationalists chanted slogans including "Jews will not replace us." Another was Blake Neff, who was a writer for, yes, of course, you guessed it, The Daily Caller, before Tucker brought his talents to Trump TV. And his work has helped lead to rave reviews for Tucker by racists. He's been celebrated by people like former KKK leader David Duke, and his show is the subject of admiration on white supremacist websites like the Daily Stormer. Surely didn't hurt that Tucker has in his body of work credited white men for creating civilization, called Iraqis semi-literate primitive monkeys. So you have a guy who had a racist writing his scripts for years, who founded a publication that employed multiple people with ties to white nationalism, who's been praised again and again by the most outspoken racists in the country who love his show. A man who's hemorrhaged advertisers over the year because on his show he sounds just like Blake Neff.
My country actually is being invaded by other countries from the South. Look at the population movement into the United States. Our leaders demand that you shut up and accept this. We have a moral obligation to admit the world's poor, they tell us, even if it makes our own country poorer and dirtier and more divided. You may be wondering, how am I, quote, personally responsible for the behavior of a Minneapolis police officer? I've never even been to Minneapolis, you may think to yourself. And why is some politician telling me I'm required to be upset about it? This may be a lot of things, this moment we're living through, but it is definitely not about Black lives. And remember that when they come for you.
Yes, and they come for you. Fox knows what it's selling, as does Tucker Carlson. And the president, of course, knows what they're selling because he loves it all. He's constantly tweeting clips. Because in America 2020, the racist losers who trade vile jokes on internet forums are the people who write the words the talking heads say into a camera and that the president then tweets out. Those people who write that kind of stuff on message boards, they're basically running the country.